Alright, I'm going to be recording from my laptop for the time being, guys. Now we are here to talk about how to get over a breakup. Now, this is definitely a rough, area. I mean, if there was like only one answer to this of how to get over it, we would have found it by now. It would have been easy. Everyone would be getting over their breakups way easier. People wouldn't need to grieve so much. It would be easy. But the hard part is there is no one answer. There's only different things you can try and different things you can do. And as with anything, time will heal all wounds. I mean, you'll still have scars, you'll still remember that, but it won't be such a sore subject. Now, let's say you just dealt with the breakup. I'm gonna guess you probably didn't want it to happen if you're grieving. Maybe you did, and you just wanted to be away from the person. It wasn't working out and you're grieving, but we'll accept that's an acceptable thing too. I mean, most people usually don't want the breakup when they grieve. So, some things you can try basically, I would say, is when you get with when you deal with a breakup, you're going to want to probably message that person all the time. You're going to want to call that person. You're going to want to go back to that person so many times. I know, I understand. But the thing is, you can't. If it's completely over and they're not wanting you to at all and it's just over, you just can't. In the end, it'll only hurt you more. And you'll only be hurting yourself and prolonging how much pain you'll be having. So instead of that, you need to just basically don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. Don't try and go near them. Don't associate with them. Maybe not, don't like forget they exist, but just don't try to associate with them. Don't try to go out of your way to go near them or anything. If you happen to be near them, don't like run away or something, but don't like try and initiate contact if you guys don't aren't on speaking terms and it's really not like a good speaking terms at all. If you guys don't like each other, just try to stay away. During a breakup, I would say you really see who your true friends are. Um, if your friends start to flock to the other side of that person, you know those friends maybe weren't that trustworthy. But it's not always about which side you're on. Some of the best friends you'll have will remain neutral and just try to help you through that because it's not always about one side winning and one side losing. It's it's more of like just helping both of you. I mean, obviously if the other person did something really horrible and awful, then yeah, you want that person to get a punishment for that or be known to people. I mean, that's totally acceptable. Yeah. But if it's just like an average breakup, you guys just didn't work out, then I would I've tried the revenge side. I personally would say it's not really worthwhile. If they did something really horrible, yes, but if not, it's not really worth it. You'll really only hurt yourself. I would mainly say pursue your hobbies. Don't necessarily jump into another relationship a bunch because you're going to be really vulnerable. So at that time, someone who shows like the slightest of interest in you, you might jump on that because you need that validation at that moment, and that's understandable, but it might not be the healthiest choice. Um, I would say don't don't focus 100% on them all the time. When you're dealing with a breakup, you can kind of lose sight of everything else and just get tunnel vision on them and hurting them, and that's really not the best thing. You'll lose who you are and yourself, and you'll look to be someone who you aren't. People will see you being this, acting like this harsh person when really that's not you. And sometimes the best thing is if you need a break from talking to them or about them, just say it, because it's much better for people to be annoyed, a little annoyed that you don't want to talk about them rather than you completely losing it over them. You can try changing the subject about that, but honestly, true friends will know not to bring that up all the time. They might bring it up sometimes to talk about. That's okay. But they won't be like constantly fixated on that. Um, I would say pursue your hobbies. Use it as growth. If you don't learn from that relationship, whether it's something negative or positive about yourself or others, then that wasn't really that important of a relationship, I would say. Because every important relationship, whether it's romantic or anything, but in this case romantic, will have you'll learn something from it. Either about yourself or someone else. It could be you don't respond well in these situations, you need to work on your communication, or that you can't always trust when someone says this certain thing, or you open up too quickly, or any number of things. But you've got to kind of like accept that and look for what you learned, because it's very important that you always learn. We're constantly changing, we're constantly learning new things about us, about others, and it's important to know that no matter what you're feeling, no matter how sad you're feeling, no matter how horrible, that's all temporary. You will not feel like that forever. I can guarantee it. 100%, I can guarantee you will not feel that way forever. And eventually it will get better. You can feel just awful and just feel like that's the worst, like nothing can get worse like than this, but honestly, you'll probably look back at that in a year or so and just laugh, because you'll be doing much better most likely by then. I mean, it's rough, but you got to get through it. And but it doesn't mean it has to be all on you. You've got to, whether you get through things by talking to others or doing stuff on your own, you should do that. A lot of people turn to drugs at that time, and I would fully not recommend that at all. It is really not a good path to go down. It's really hard to get out of. Um, but I would say you gotta be, you gotta look at it from their perspective and yours. Because if you look at it from just yours, you won't ever understand why someone did something or why something else happened, and it'll just be one-sided, and not really anything will be solved. I mean, and it's just like you gotta, be careful about how you think, because you can easily go down a dark path and do that. I mean, I would honestly say, if you don't like talking to others about it, then you don't have to. You definitely don't. You can, I would say, pursue your hobbies. Very important. Keep yourself active doing when you're like sitting there and not doing anything, you're just sedentary and, you know, doing nothing. That's when it can get to you the most. It's very important that you do stuff you love or be around people you love. Be surrounded by that, because if you surround yourself with negativity and bad energy, you're going to not have a good time. You're going to be constantly thinking negative and doing that. But if you surround yourself with positivity and, you know, good energy, then it'll be different. I'm not saying that you have to constantly be looking at the good in it and never accept the bad. You got to accept the bad and the good. But if you just look at the bad all the time, then you'll be blinded on all the good. And if you just look at the good all the time, you'll be blinded on the bad. So you got to look at that. You should, I would say the hardest part is probably going to be hearing their name or seeing them if you go to the same school or anything like that. Yeah, but never give up is something I would majorly say. Never give up, because the bad feelings want to win, and you just can't let them, you know? Don't let them win. No matter how much they push, you know, you got to be knowing you're stronger, and remember who's in charge of your body. I mean, your brain and body, it all works for you. It's not the other way around. You don't work for them, they work for you. So make sure they remember that and know that, because that's very important, and don't ever feel powerless about that. I would say everything you're feeling is always valid, you know, no matter what anyone says, it's always valid. No matter what it is. I mean, even if it's a horrible thought, it is valid. There's always a difference between thoughts and actions. You can think of doing horrible things to someone, but the difference is if you act on it. You can think about hurting someone, attacking them, but the difference will always be if you actually do it. It's okay to have those thoughts. It's okay to do that as long as you don't act on them and you don't sit and just go in them over and over. You can think about it. I mean, if someone hurts you, it's totally understandable, but don't just sit there constantly thinking about it and don't act on it, because that's a perfectly understandable emotion and feeling. That's your body's natural feeling. I mean, if someone hurts you, even mentally, very much, your natural response is going to be to fight back, to defend yourself, to eliminate the threat. So, I mean, that's totally understandable. It's easily understandable, but you can't act on it. Um, Remember that no matter what you're going through, there is someone else out there who is going through that same thing. You are not alone. It doesn't, no matter, pretty much no matter what you are going through, there is someone else out there who will understand. They may not be at your school, they may not be in your city, but I can almost guarantee you there will be someone out there who will understand. And if people leave you because of that relationship and the breakup, like friends or just people around you, don't be sad about that. Know that be happy because that shows who's real and who's not. It's much better to lose them right at that moment than get close with them for years and then they just randomly leave you for no reason. Um, know that it's very important to just kind of keep going, and whatever happens, like it's gonna be hard. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not. I mean, each situation is different. That's the hardest part. Is each situation is different, needs different amounts of time. I mean, if you were with them for like a week compared to like a couple years, the grieving amount is going to be very different. Um, and it's people aren't always going to work out because like we're always changing, we're always learning and changing who we are for the better and sometimes for the worse, but most of the time it's for the better changing. And sometimes people grow apart, and that's okay because you don't know, they might come back onto your path later on, or they just weren't meant to be, and you don't know if your dream person is right around the corner waiting for you to come on by. And that's basically what it is. Don't settle for what you think will be suitable for you or somewhat okay when you could have someone that's great for you and perfect just around the corner. So I guess that's basically just what I wanted to let you guys know, that it's okay to wait. You have time and not to feel rushed. And you're not alone. Everything you feel is valid. And yeah, always, take care of yourself. And I mean, obviously, if they attack you, defend yourself, but I don't know what your situation is. But yeah, I hope you all have a good day and a good time. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys feel better. And yeah, thank you for your time.